Since the creation of the medium of film, the subjects of film have bent toward a less moral and wholesome atmosphere, and the moral standards represented in modern films have declined to an alarming degree from those of the original motion pictures. When film first began to rise as an industry, it was very unknown territory. And as different subjects began being addressed, there was much concern over what kind of content was being produced and how it was regulated. But at the same time, there was a lot of backlash because there were audiences who wanted to see certain things in film, and a lot of the early regulations are extremely overbearing. Ultimately, you end up with the motion picture rating system, which instead of strictly regulating and prohibiting certain classifications of film, would ultimately just start categorizing them so that parents would know, okay, these films are safe for families and these ones are not.
We present the following guide for parents and young people. It is designed to inform parents about the suitability of movie content.
So ultimately, you end up in a society where there's much less actual restriction over what film can portray, but that certain things like drugs and sex and alcohol use will cause films to have a higher rating that basically communicates to the world that this film is for only a certain audience.
Requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Once you started to see the allowance of more violence and sex and other crime and immorality, and we become desensitized to all of those things, so that ultimately you end up in a place where we see these things on TV so often that when we see them in real life, we won't be as shocked by them. And that's really a stain on society in a way, because now we see much more frequent things that were once only shown in movies, and maybe at one time were shown as being bad, but now they become normal in movies and they become normal in society. There's a very low standard because parents aren't regulating what their kids watch in the first place, so kids will also end up seeing things and thinking they're okay, and so that ends up having a heavy effect on society. As Christians, we don't have to be afraid of this. We can't completely steer away from film because it is a medium of our world. It's a very powerful one, but at the same time, we're responsible to use it as a witnessing tool, to understand its power, to understand basically everything about it that we need to know. We can use it as a tool to witness, either as an example of what not to do, or there are many people who use film in a positive way. Film is used as a witnessing tool. Wholesome film does exist. We as Christians are responsible to ensure that prolongs, and as we can, to be the shining light in the world of film.